On to coronavirus.
That everyone wants to talk about.
I know. I swore I was going to try to avoid it this week. But seriously, like with everything that happened this week, it's the only thing in the news.
It is. And
it's ridiculous.
And it's constantly changing throughout the day. And I noticed, so we live in Idaho. We were one of the last 4.
Today's Friday, and we got our first case today.
Yes, so we were one of the last 4 states to not have any cases. And I saw funny things on Facebook, like Braveheart holding the line. And we saw a funny one with, like, the last 4 states in, like,
the Final Four bracket.
A bracket, yeah. And we lost.
Yeah.
But,
so close.
So we've been watching our phones quite a bit to kind of see where the case, to check to make sure we don't have any the cases around. So it's affecting all of our lives. We're all keeping tabs on it. If you have any children, they're probably all now home or will be soon. Yeah. Extended, what is it called? Extended,
spring break, pretty much.
Spring break, yeah. I was going to say spring training.
Well, yeah, I mean.
But yes, and
training.
So everyone's affected right now. So it's constantly on our minds. And I don't know about you, but, I can't get toilet paper anywhere either. So good luck, everyone. Yeah. And I work at a grocery store.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyways, the big news is...
all sports are canceled.
All sports.
Well, not canceled. Like, the NBA season has been suspended. Who knows what's going to happen there? Hockey said they pushed pause on the season. But the big thing, for us, obviously with the podcast, is spring training was suspended or canceled. Like, we don't actually know what's going to happen with that. I know
the season's postponed, and especially we got a notice for Little League. This is actually... We postponed Wilson and Little League this season, but I know they're pushing back, which actually worked out because they're pushing that back, and we'll see how long that
may not be a Little League season this year.
Yeah, and so spring training is completely done now.
So that's one of the things that I saw is that nobody knows exactly how it's going to work. I saw something they called the Spring Training 2 when they come back in whenever. Maybe they'll go back and finish the last 2 weeks of spring training so guys can get their last few hacks and get ready to get back into it, because right now, and they've shut down training facilities.
I was going to say...
Today, they said, go home. Don't hang out here. Everybody go home. Go to your families.
I was going to say, I was wondering if they'd continue spring training, but only like...
without fans? Without
fans, and only like as needed players. Like, not necessarily like... But like... not maybe extra staff, extra anything like that. Like, just almost like a Sandlot. Like,
yeah,
we're all just... Players are going to play. We'll have a few coaches out there. And maybe 1 or 2 umps. Or have coaches, just purely like... doesn't count baseball.
Well, the thing about it that's crazy to me is that I'm actually surprised it took this long for them to shut it down. Because... I'm going to get more into this a little bit later. Wilson and I are going to talk about our trip down to spring training. But the crazy thing about it is the players are so accessible to anybody. I mean, you walk into those practice facilities, walk down to they call them the backfields because they're just back behind the main field. The guys just do their morning workouts and walk over to the field, and you can walk over to the practice facilities. You can just walk around. I had Wilson walking around with his ball, and we'd just find players, and he'd hand him his pen and his ball, and they'd get it, and he got it signed.
Oh, cutest thing ever.
It was.
I think you need to attach at least a picture, too.
I'm going to.
Holy smokes. That little boy in a giant baseball cap looking up to these very sweet men that are signing these kids' balls. It was so cute.
It was.
I was
but
hard not to be there.
So yeah, it's cute and it's sweet when Wilson and other kids, his age do it. But the fact that, I was there, there's other adults there, who knows? And, people coming from all over the place that, especially we were at the Mariners facility, there were a ton of Washington license plates down there. Ton. And Seattle is, one of the big points. And you've got the Dodgers, you've got the Angels down there in Phoenix, and people coming from California,
anywhere where everyone's traveling to from other places.
Yeah, it basically becomes a petri dish. And when we left, that's kind of like, oh man, I feel bad for those players that, I hope none of them came in contact with him, because that'd be miserable. That would just be miserable.
It does help they're outside in the open air, and that's helpful. And hopefully people are kind enough and smart enough to not be up in people's faces. But, because I was reading this article, because that's what I have time to do. And I was reading this article, though, about even just the fresh air and sunshine. And so while we have kids home, even during spring break, since we don't really want to go to play places or museums or anything like that, we're keeping our kids pretty close-knit. Yeah. We have already thought of ideas to do here. Because I'm crazy, I bought a jump house around
Not
Christmas.
Not a giant one, just a small one, but
just
still.
Just a small indoor jump house, but around Christmas time, because I was like, hey, we have winter, and why not? I think Mom more thought that was going to be fun.
But no, I think you're right, though. I think that's why we haven't seen so far any baseball players, because it's not like you're inside the inside the buildings, the whole training facility. It's all outside. On top of each other as
baseball players for the most part.
Yeah, and have you seen those dugouts?
Well, that
the spring training dugouts are like crammed. It's like standing room only because you've got such big rosters in spring training.
That's true. I was more
that
thinking,
is the big worry,
the
though.
action of baseball.
But
not
but it's crazy though.
It is.
It's all shut down. The College World Series. There's no more college baseball the rest of the year. Yeah. It's done. They canceled the whole thing, canceled all college spring sports, so we're not going to get a College World Series this year, which is going to have an effect on the draft. It's going to have an effect on guys' draft stock because you see guys who typically...
Well, even seniors and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
they're
seniors,
not going to have a chance to be seen. We might have a whole year where...
Yeah, seniors, it actually came out today, the NCAA is going to let them come back for another year.
I was actually going to say, I was wondering if they would even do almost... and maybe this isn't the right way, but I don't know if you could really even do kind of like a combine thing. It doesn't show, I guess, as much talent. So you're right. They probably just have to come back a year.
Yeah.
That would be fun to watch, though.
It would be. It would be a lot of fun to watch a baseball combine. But
for my birthday, 10 years ago, we watched.
Yeah, it's true. We did watch the NFL combine on your birthday. I forgot about that. But guys, these guys don't have a chance to improve their draft stock as seniors or even freshmen, sophomores, juniors, whatever. So, they don't have a chance to display their ability in the College World Series if that's when it is, if they're big time gamers, if that's when they thrive, so that's going to be hard. I think
it's really brave of all of these organizations, though, and smart, and to take take that into consideration and also be very wise and conscious of everybody's health and the benefit that this actually will have. I know, I'm sure everyone's seen the arc and what these shutdowns will do to hopefully, if it does what it's supposed to, maybe within a few months we can have everything contained and we can all kind of be back to normal life.
Yeah.
Baseball
initially said they were pushing back. Major League Baseball said they were pushing back opening day 2 weeks. I think it's going to be longer than that. I don't think we'll see opening day until May 1st, probably. Denise Cantu posted in the group that in Illinois, the governor said no sporting events, no big group gatherings until May 1st, I believe is what she said. And I think that's probably about the timeline we're looking for.
I've noticed that most of the heavier infected areas are doing, even just because I'm a mom, so I follow a lot of other moms, even their schools are all doing these 6-week big breaks. Yeah. So I'm I think realistically, hold everything off for 6 weeks, and maybe that will be the big enough window to contain and then to stop the spread, help everybody that may be contaminated, and then go from there. So it's a big deal. I don't know what we're going to talk about for the
that's actually where I was headed.
You get your baseball cards out. We'll start talking about baseball.
So we're still gonna do the podcast every single week. So the question is, what is the podcast going to look like for the next 6 weeks? Well, we have a few ideas, some things that we didn't get to during the off season that we want to. We have some book reviews that we want to do. Yes. Brig and I both love to listen to audiobooks. I've mostly gotten into them because of him.
He's a big reader.
He's a big time reader, which I appreciate, and I love when he gives me recommendations because I really enjoy it. And also, something we talked about today, actually, that we want to do that we think would be fun. We're going to be missing watching baseball. There's not going to be any. There is no sports to watch anywhere in the world. It feels like after the snap on Avengers Endgame. Nothing. No, that's what it feels like to me. That was the very first thought I had. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the snap. It's the snap. There's not going to be any sports. So what we're going to do instead is I have MLB TV. Brig has MLB TV. So what we're going to do... Oh, what do we do? Not Mike Trout. But what we're going to do is we're going to choose starting with opening day, we're going to choose a game from some time in Major League Baseball history. Probably going to be since 1986, to be honest, for me. Like, I'm going to pick something in my lifetime just to narrow down.
Yeah.
But, like, starting with opening day. So what we'll do is we'll watch an opening day game. And then we'll each talk about our opening day game that we watched. And then the next week we'll find a game, because I'm sure there was a perfect game somewhere in the second week of the season. So we'll watch that. We'll talk about it. So we're going to talk about games that have already happened, like they happened just now. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to visit some of those great games.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
So that's something that we're going to do. Like I said, book reviews, and we'll figure out some other games to play.
Maybe interview some people too.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get some guests on to do some interviews, things like that. So we're still going to be doing the podcast. It's just going to look a little bit different than what we expected this time of year.
Definitely.
So.